Welcome to Lion Analytics, where we make your analytics roar. Struggling to level up your Tableau skills? Parameters can be tricky, but these 4 tips will instantly improve your dashboards. My favorite is the 4th, and most people overlook it, so don't miss it. First tip, using parameters as dynamic, discrete, and continuous fields. Create a parameter and name it rows. Select data type equal to string. Then, allowable values as list. Input value as region, segment, and ship mode. Next, create a calculated field named rows parameter. It is an if-else function that returns the field's region, segment, and ship date, depending on what the rows parameter was selected. Hit OK and drag the rows parameter into the rows field, replacing region. Head to the rows parameter at the bottom left, right-click and hit Show Parameter. You will find yourself being able to switch between region, segment, and ship mode. You can do the same for columns as well, using the same method. Create a parameter named columns with the same data type as string, allowable value as list, with the same region, segment, and ship mode. Then duplicate the rows parameters and update all the rows into columns. Pull the newly created column parameter into columns. Then right-click on columns in the parameters section at the bottom left and hit Show Parameter. What we have is now a dynamic table. One last finishing touch would be creating a dynamic measure value. Create a new parameter called measure. Select data type as string, allowable values as list, and value as sales, profit, and quantity. Then, create a new calculated field called measure parameter. It is an if-else function that returns sales, profit, or quantity, depending on the parameter selected. Drag the newly created measure parameter into the label marks, as well as columns, replacing our generic sum of sales. Don't forget to right-click Measure from the Parameters section at the bottom left and select Show Parameters. There you have it, dynamic table with changeable measure values. Dynamic tables are pivot table on steroids, essentially creating a table that adapts to user inputs and enabling self-serve analytics. The tables empowers the user to conduct complex data exploration, all in one layout. Best of all, it keeps the dashboard clean, reducing the amount of sheets needed and provides scalability and efficiency. Next tip, using parameters to create adjustable highlight regions. Here, we have a fun bubble chart. Chart is filtered to Canada, since the numbers of orders will be easier to manage for this example. Feel free to pause the video to replicate this. We then create a new parameter called profit ratio threshold. Data type stays as float and change the current value to 0.25. Then create a calculated field named profit ratio exceed. It is a simple if-else function that returns exceed when profit ratio is larger than profit ratio threshold, which is the parameter we just created. If it is not larger, it returns not exceed. Drag the newly created profit ratio exceed calculated field into the color marks. Click on the color mark to adjust the colors. In this example, we used green for exceed and red for not exceed. Don't forget to head to the bottom left section, right-click Profit Ratio Threshold, and hit Show Parameter. You are now able to adjust the parameter, and the bubbles will shift in colors depending on their profit ratio. Parameter adjustable highlights let users control what stands out, spot outliers instantly, set your own thresholds, and adapt visuals to changing business goals. No back and forth edits needed. Tip number 3. Using parameters as cross-data source filter without the need of blending or joining the data sources. Start by creating a new parameter called year. Select data type as integer and allowable values as list. Input values as the year 2024, 2023, 2022, and 2021. Optionally, we can change the display format from automatic to number custom, decimal places to 0, and uncheck the include thousands separators. This will make our parameter list look more like years instead of just numbers. Always remember to right-click on your newly created parameter and hit Show Parameter. Now create a new calculated field called Year Parameter Filter. The calculation is a simple true-false logic that checks if the selected parameter equals to the year of the order date. Drag the newly created calculated field into Filters and filter to True Only. Your dashboard now filters by the year of the parameter selected. Next, for this exercise, I've created a randomly generated data source. Looks just like our sample Superstore data, but with different set of sales data. Create a new calculated field, named exactly the same as Year Parameter Filter. The logic for the calculated field is exactly the same in this case. Drag the field into Filter and filter to True Only. Next, we have a simple dashboard with 2 worksheets that we created previously. Select any of the worksheet and head to Parameters and select Year. This will show the year parameter we created initially. You now have a single parameter that allows you to filter both data sources without joining or blending the data sources. Optionally, you can add the parameter year as a title breadcrumb in your dashboard. Parameters are useful as it can be inserted into any text objects. Parameters make cross-data source filtering easy. No blending required. It simplifies setup, boosts performance, and keeps everything controlled from one place. The last tip for this video is also my favorite usage for parameters: dual parameter for flexible year comparison. Here we have a simple table with no marks yet. 2 parameters were created, year 1 and year 2. Feel free to adjust their display format into years instead of just numbers. The only difference for year 2 is that the parameter defaults to year 2023 and year 1 defaults to year 2024. Create a new calculated field called Year 1 Sales. The calculation is a simple if-else function that sums the sales if the year of order date is equal to year 1 parameter. Duplicate year 1 sales and edit the ones into 2s. Now we can go ahead and calculate percent change, which we name sales percent change. Right-click on the parameters to show parameter. Drag the newly created percent change field into text marks. Right-click on the sales percent change text mark and click Format and adjust the field into percentages. Drag year 1 sales and year 2 sales into the text marks as well. We can then adjust them into currencies using the same method. Now, if we mouse over back to the sales percent change text mark, we can hold down the Control key and drag it into color. This will duplicate the pill and have it show up in the color mark. We can then switch the mark from automatic to square. Clicking on the color mark again and hit Edit Color. Click Advanced and adjust the start to -1 and end to 1. This will keep the range of color in a manageable range. We now have a simple table that shows a dynamic year-over-year percent change as well as sales by year. To visualize the text better, we can also drag parameters directly into text marks. Click on the label mark and hit the 3 dots right beside the text section. We can now rearrange the marks and add additional text to provide better visualization. You can also apply the same concept in different charts. My favorite is applying them into geological maps. Here we have a map by country and state. Drag the sales percent change calculated field into color. Click on the color mark and hit Edit Colors. Click Advanced and adjust them again to -1 for start and 1 for end. Hold Control and drag sales percent change into label and adjust the format into percentages. You now have a dynamic map with a dynamic year-over-year percent change sales metric. With parameters being global, you can use it in a dashboard with multiple sheets with just one set of parameters. Our last tip allows users to toggle between different years to spot anomalies and trends. They are easily applied to various charts and can be further enhanced to provide deeper exploratory analysis. Thanks for watching. These parameter tips are powerful yet practical, perfect for beginner to intermediate Tableau users looking to build smarter, more flexible dashboards. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more analytics content.